Hello, class. So I want to do a short review of the final paper. So here is the rubric of it. So you're going to have to write an introduction. Be sure that it's clear. It gives an overview of where this paper is going. You are doing a wind chill survey that you have selected an area of the city and you've identified a problem or a need within that community, and you've come up with two nursing diagnoses. So you're going to tell us that you're going to be doing all this, okay? That's your introduction. And then you're going to close it with a conclusion, which is going to sum up everything you've said. Never add new information in the conclusion. Only summarize what you've just said. All right, so the data. The data that's listed in the course, it's throughout the Sentinel City. You've used a lot of the data from each social determinant of health. That's the data that you're going to be collecting, because that's going to give you the story of your community that you chose. And I'm going to show you in a bit where to put that data. So that data comes from all of those pop-outs and pull-outs and the different areas in Sentinel City where you went to look. Remember, infectious disease information, crime information, all of the type of stuff. That's the data that you're using in your analysis to come up with a diagnosis so you can implement a plan and then evaluate it. Okay, so be sure that you're clear on your rubric. Your health concerns, two major health concerns for the targeted population, and you want to address these thoroughly with rationale and support it with scholarly literature, okay? And then for the healthy people criteria, you want to connect between the major health concerns that you've identified and healthy people 2020 indicators. So you want to do that also in a paragraph or so, okay? Now, note that the criteria that's written here, introduction and conclusion, the introduction does not have a heading. It just begins, you write your title on the second page and you begin your introduction. The conclusion does have a heading. See page 62 for headings. All right, and then you can use this information or some version of these criteria as your headings, okay? So you're gonna have a section on the data. You're gonna have a section on the health concern that you're writing about. You're going to talk about Healthy People 2020 and the indicators and how it ties in with your community, okay? Now, all your writing has to be, of course, in scholarly writing. So it's organized well. Use your headings to do that. Your ideas are clear and arranged logically. You have smooth transitions from paragraph to paragraph. You're not being redundant with the information, and it's all done in APA. Your references, not more than 6 years old. They have to be relevant, and they have to be scholarly resources, okay? And then you have here not more than one reference from an appropriate website. Wikipedia is not an appropriate website, all right? And then again, your grammar and your APA format for all citations, for all references, for your headings, your title page, all of that has to be here, okay? All right, so let's look at the paper itself. Okay. All right, so let's look at the paper. First thing you're going to notice your title page, your running head. Notice the format of the running head, and then you have your page number. Wind chill survey for Sentinel City does not have to be your title or your running head. You can do this specifically to your particular community or the issue that you have found in your community. I would say to look at the APA manual, section 2.01, on 2.05, I'm sorry, No, it's 2.01, Patrick, on title pages and titles and running heads, okay? So this should be specific to your paper. All right, and then your name, your class, your school, and so forth. All right, so introduction, the second page, you'll notice that introduction is here, but you do not write the word introduction. Your title goes here, not introduction. So your title is repeated here, and then you write your introduction. Your data, this describes the data in narrative form related to the health concern that you believe exists in your chosen community. And then we're going to put it in a table, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But this is where you're going to really write up what problem you found, why is it a problem, what's the rationale for identifying this problem, and then you're going to go into the health concerns. You're going to talk about how does this concern of yours that you found in the data create a concern for this community, and how does it impact this community in terms of their own ability to care for themselves and to care for one another. So you're going to want to look at this, and this is how you're going to write up your health concerns. And there are two of them. Please do not bullet these diagnoses. Write them both in narrative form. Write the diagnosis, talk about it. Write the second one, talk about it through the whole process of the goals, the interventions, and how it's going to be evaluated. And then your last paragraph is where you're going to talk about how this identified concern in your community interacts or makes connection with the healthy people category. And here is the website. You can go and find the indicators for Healthy People 2020, and you can talk about how your concerns in this community fit with the indicators identified in Healthy People 2020. And then you do a summary, a conclusion. You reiterate what you've said at the beginning, and you tell us where you have been in this paper. So your introduction tells you where you're going with this paper, and the summary or the conclusion tells you where you've been. So again, no new material in this section of your paper. And then you have your reference page, okay? Put all your references in APA format, and then you'll have your appendix page. Now, it will be titled Appendix. Now, use this section to where you're going to collect all that data that you spoke of in the first part of your paper. It's going to be listed out here. So how am I going to do that? So I'm going to come here. If you use this template, take this out. I'm going to come here. I'm going to put 2 steps down. It's going to say Appendix. But let me just put it up here. Okay, it's going to say Appendix. And then it's going to say, maybe you'll title this paper, Sentinel City and your community, okay? Casper or whatever it is, okay? And then you put a space, and now you want to build a table. So just go right up here to Insert, and you want to insert a table. Now this is a Mac, so you'll have to look at how you do it on a PC, but this is a Mac. So you insert a table. How many rows and how many columns are you going to want? Well, it doesn't really matter at the beginning because you're going to be able to tailor this to what you need. So you're probably not going to have 5 columns. You're going to have your first column, which lists the social determinant of health, and then the second column are the statistics that you found in that city, in that community. So you might have 3 columns, and then 2 rows is fine. And so then you're going to end up with it here. So here it is. Now, label this here, the social determinant of health, okay? And then here, whatever is going to be in this column and this column. And then look at the statistics that is in Sentinel City and pull those statistics from the 8 social determinants of health that you've looked at that are applicable and put them in this table. Now, after you get down here, this as often as you tab, it will create another line if you need it, okay? So this is how you create the table. Be sure you put your title here of what this group is, and then list the what you're talking about. What statistics are these are listed here. All right. I hope that helps. If you have a question, please contact your coach. They will be glad to help you. And so with that, I'm going to close this story. Thank you, and let me know if you have any questions, okay?